Hey guys, welcome to another episode of People in Politics here on the Metropolis channel on YouTube. We're very honored today to have our brand new guest, Cleveland City Council President Kevin Kelley. Kevin, thanks for coming on board.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is great. What an exciting time to be Cleveland City Council President.
Sure is. It's a great time to be in Cleveland.
Yeah, LeBron's coming back, and we have the RNC coming back. Now, can you take credit for all of that? You
Absolutely.
were the lead negotiator bringing
that's what politicians do. We get blamed for stuff that's not in our control, and sometimes you take credit for stuff.
You take credit for everything.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. Tell us a little bit about what it took to get the RNC here, because that's a huge issue. I mean,
it's absolutely huge. I mean, when you think about that process and how it went, there was 6 legitimate contenders that we were competing against, and these weren't small towns. We were competing against Denver, we were competing against Kansas City, we were competing against Las Vegas, we were competing against Dallas. We had some really tough competition, and I think that all the work of the host committee, all the work of the people that were really reaching out to the RNC, really just kind of proving that this really is a first-rate convention town, and this is the place that the Republican National Convention wants to be and wants to have their convention. So, like I say, it was hard fought, but it was worth it, and we're looking forward to making sure that this is the best convention they've ever had.
Yeah, and truth be told, no matter what party you're affiliated with, the RNC coming to Cleveland is just an exciting thing, because it's really going to showcase the city not only on a national level but globally as well. So it is very, very exciting. But
it's more than exciting. I mean, you think about just what it brings, and I'm always kind of leery of certain economic studies and all, but but those that have done studies are very legitimate companies that really looked at what the economic impact is. Most recent we have is Tampa, and it's very reasonable to predict $400 million in economic activity as a result of this. That Homeland Security, anything purchased to secure the perimeter, that stays with the host city. So all those infrastructure investment, that all stays with us. And if you think about all the projects that are in the books, all the hotels that are being built, the public square plan, if that takes off, the bridge to the lakefront, all this stuff has to be done by 2016.
Wow.
So we've got kind of a drop-dead date where we just need to keep moving and make sure that nothing falls behind schedule, everything keeps moving. So there's going to be a lot of activity going on in this town between now and 2016, and quite frankly, for a long time thereafter.
That's good. That's what we like to hear. And it's a very exciting time to be in Cleveland. Very exciting time to be Cleveland City Council President. And you haven't been president for that long, right?
Since January 6th of this year.
Wow. Yes. That's great. Good for you.
Thanks.
And tell us a little bit about how you got involved in politics.
Well, it's
because you grew up in Cleveland, right?
I grew up in Cleveland. I grew up in Fairview Park, actually. But I moved to Cleveland just after I graduated, and all my relatives, family live in Cleveland, the West Park neighborhood. I started as just kind of a neighborhood activist. I was a social worker, and I was involved in a number of neighborhood activities.
Great.
And I enjoyed doing that. It was I felt like I was a part of the community, and I was very active. But I really came to realize that the kind of like the causes I was fighting for, the real decisions that affect those are made at a higher level.
Sure.
So I thought that you could always be more effective if you're closer to the policy making. The policy making decisions are really what affects what happens on the ground.
Yeah.
So I just kind of always, while I continue to do what I was doing, I always thought that that in terms of the spectrum, to be in an elected position, to be where policy is made, you can really have the most, you can really impact change the most at that level.
Yeah, and when did you run for city council? You ran the first time and got elected, or?
No, I ran and was unsuccessful, and quite frankly, I thought that that it wasn't meant to be, and I started looking for other career opportunities in a different course. I had my master's in social work, and I had a pretty good career. And I also decided at the time that I wanted to go to law school.
Oh, wow.
So I went to law school in the evening, and
you're currently practicing law as well?
Currently practicing law at a Ohio firm, Porter Wright Morrison Arthur. I'm counsel there.
Sure.
Very great firm, good people. And but it was one of those things where I was hired. I was out of law school. I was still in my first year, and then this opportunity came along.
Great.
And my predecessor, Mike O'Malley, was gonna step down, and he asked if I'd like to be considered for the appointment. And just career-wise, it was not the perfect timing, but I thought about it. I was like, I'll be able to look back in 20 years, and there's still going to be a legal profession.
Sure.
I'll be one of many, but I might not get this opportunity again.
Yeah.
This opportunity, doesn't come along. I had 4 kids at the time. I have 5 now, and it wasn't. I wasn't going to be in a position to kind of drop things and run for office as my kids age. So I kind of accepted that opportunity,
Good.
Was elected, and I've been elected 3 times since.
Wow. And then you are elected from your peers, your colleagues,
yes.
to be council president. So that's a lot of trust that they put in you, and obviously you have a lot of respect of your colleagues too. So that's really great.
Mm-hmm.
That shows very well on how they think of you too. So that's exciting to know that. What about your educational background? You're talking you had a master's in social services, and you had a law degree.
Mm-hmm.
Did you grew up in the Fairview Park, Cleveland area? So did you go to school around the area?
I went to graduate from St. Edward High School.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We got to stop the interview now. Wait. I'm an Ignatius guy.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all good.
Is it okay now?
It's okay.
Okay, good.
No.
So we can be friends. We can show everybody how we can do it.
No, we're lucky to have 2 very high-performing educational institutions in this town.
I agree.
And,
between St. Ignatius and St. Ed's, it doesn't get much better.
No, Ignatius is a great school. I would have gone there if I didn't get in Ed's.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people think the same.
That's great. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, where did you go to college?
I went to Marquette University
good.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and then came back. I was a member of the Jesuit Volunteer Corps.
Oh, wow.
And worked at the West Side Catholic Center, and that's where I kind of started getting involved in neighborhood activities, and one job led to another,
mm-hmm.
and one of my employers offered to help me pay for my master's degree, so I did that. I got my master's degree from Case Western Reserve in social work.
Great.
I was doing that for a while, and then I'd always kind of wanted to go to law school, but I never the opportunities never seemed like the right time. So I was at a point in life where I just kind of made a decision that if I'm going to do this, I've got to do it now, or else I just need to kind of close the book on it.
Sure.
And went to Cleveland Marshall College of Law, and it was just a very good decision.
How old were you when you went to law school?
I think I started when I was 30-something.
Okay, so not the traditional after college age.
No, I went at night.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
So I was working full-time at Recovery Resources, and I was going to law school at night. And when I started law school, I had 2 kids, and when I finished, I had 4. So yeah, it was a pretty busy time of life.
Wow, I bet.
So
so you're Cleveland City Council president. You have 5 kids.
Yes.
You're married.
Yes.
You have a law degree. You have a master's in social services. What do you do for fun?
Oh, well,
do you have any time?
Well, I make time. I make time. No, I like going to Indians games. I like going to Browns games, Cavs games when the time now is baseball season. Playing golf would be a creative interpretation of the word play. I show up.
That's good. Scrambles are your
yeah,
thing,
exactly, exactly. So I attempt to play golf. So I'm, do that fairly frequently. I run, I work out, I do little things, and I do a lot of my kids' activities, hang out with a lot of their activities, and that keeps me. And then I actually enjoy that. I consider that fun, going to my kids' meets or their track meets or their gymnastics competitions.
Well, and it's great that, frankly, you have the time and you put aside the time to go to your kids' events because in your busy schedule, that just shows that you're a very dedicated father and family man, and that's good to have in a position that you're in right now. So that's excellent.
Yeah, that's most important.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, one of the questions that I usually like to ask all the guests, as our viewers know, is who's your favorite U.S. president and why? It really shows as to how you portray yourself in leadership skills and legislate.
This has changed over the years, and it will likely change again.
Sure.
But I would have to say Bill Clinton.
Okay.
And the reason that I say Bill Clinton is if you look at what's happening in Washington now. When Bill Clinton was president, he was criticized for compromising too much, whether it was welfare reform, or all the different things that he had started with a certain position and came to a different position. And
sure.
But there is no compromise in Washington now. You're almost seen as weak in Washington if you compromise now.
I agree.
But if you look at what he did as president with the Republican Congress, he got a lot done.
Sure.
By being reasonable and compromising, and also overcame a lot of adversity in his presidency. And he didn't, as we all know, he faced impeachment. The whole Whitewater Monica Lewinsky thing was always over his head, but he didn't let that control his presidency or what he did. I mean, he was still working for Middle East peace. However you feel about it, he pushed through NAFTA and kept that going. And he really presided over time of great economic prosperity. Sure. And it's all we had an understanding in Washington, a system in Washington where compromise is a way that you get to a result that people can live with and move the country forward. And I don't see that now. So there's other great presidents. There's other presidents that mean a lot. But right now, if you had to say who's my favorite, he's the president that I was a younger man when he was president, that I really was very much involved in politics and keeping myself aware of world issues during that time.
He really has a great charisma about him that you can't learn. It's more an innate charisma that he has, and I think that charisma really helped him through his career as president too. Yeah. Because it was a genuine thing. When you met him, it was very, very genuine. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why he was such a strong president and compromise. But that's definitely one of the reasons why we created this series was so people would be able to get to know public officials more on a personal realm, because a lot of you guys have a lot in common. You may not have a lot in common on political side, but there's one or two things that we would be able to find maybe on the personal side that would allow for a little bit more talk and a little bit more compromise. And I think that we've seen that a lot through a lot of the episodes that we've had on People in Politics. Right. And we want to keep doing the series, and we appreciate you coming on board, and we'd love to have you on again soon, and we could talk about the RNC coming in 2016.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time in Cleveland, and just so much activity, so much construction, so many great things happening. So I'm just happy to be a part of it.
That's great. And LeBron's coming back, and
yes, he is.
And we appreciate him coming back too. So we're very excited. Great time to be in Cleveland. Great time to be Cleveland City Council president. And Kevin, we really appreciate you coming on board.
Bobby, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of People in Politics. Please stay tuned to more episodes coming up in the future. Thank you.